Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about how the weather can affect people's mood. Well, today is a very rainy day in Los Angeles, and I thought that this would be a very appropriate subject for you guys to hear. Well, obviously, when it's gray, it definitely makes your mood kind of sad, because I think we're people that naturally go towards having the sun as our friend, and if the sun is not out, then we kind of start getting a little bit moody. And that's what's funny, is that having come from a country like Belgium, I'm kind of used to the rain, and for me, having to do things when it's raining is not too bad, whereas here, whenever there's just a little bit of gray or even some wind or whatever, people tend to start saying, well, I don't want to go out, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And I think it's kind of funny, because if you really think about it, if every country where there was a bit of rain, the whole world stopped, then I don't think we'd get very, very far, if that makes sense. So I just say, if it's raining, well, screw it. I'll just ignore it. I'll keep on shooting my videos. I'll keep on doing whatever I needed to do for that day, and enjoy the sound, because the sound is actually kind of cool. But there is something to say about the weather, basically. I think that countries that have pretty bad weather, people tend to be harder workers, if that makes sense. I don't know why, but if you really look at the pattern, not saying that countries that have a lot of sun don't have hard-working people, but the thing is that if the weather is good, you have a tendency of not really wanting to stay home or go to work, because you want to enjoy that weather, right? Whereas when there's a lot of cold, well, it kind of makes you do things faster. You tend to start walking in the street faster. You tend to simply do things faster. You are more at home. You're more willing to go from point A to point B. So basically, when you wake up in the morning, you know you have to bundle up. You're on a mission. You can't just enjoy the weather outside because the weather is bad. So what you do is you have a tendency to just walk faster and get to the destination that you have to get to, because there you know that at least you have some shelter and it's going to be a little bit warmer, you know. So that's one thing that there is to say, and I think that's why it's sad to say, but a lot of countries that have a beautiful country in some way, but have terrible weather, have wonderful weather, the people are kind of lazy, and that's why, or not even lazy in the same way, but they have a tendency to just, how can I say, want to enjoy life. So maybe you don't need as much shelter in your home, and you don't need as much money in order to make yourself a beautiful house, because everything outside leads you to going to the beach, or just enjoying a coffee at a cafe, or just enjoying life. And it's funny, because when you go to places like Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, even though their economy is not the best, what's funny is that because I think the weather is good, you see all these people outside just enjoying life, and you don't see the sadness that ensues from not having too much money, which is kind of interesting. And on the other spectrum, whenever it's gray, people have a tendency to not be happy. You feel like the sky is very low. You feel drenched from all the water, from all the snow, and then the moment that there's just a little bit of sun, even though it might not even be great weather, you're already jumping from joy. And there's a reason why some cold countries have very high suicide rates. There's basically a condition, I forgot the name of it exactly, but it says that there's this condition that people get depression just from having not enough sunlight. And once you, in order to treat them, you want to send them kind of like to a sunlight therapy session, where basically they're giving you artificial rays of sun, and it boosts your energy and all that good stuff. And yeah, I really believe that these factors can definitely change us. And the irony of things is, in this world, obviously there's climate change and there's a lot of things, but even without, if you really think about it, even without all this pollution and stuff, there'd still be some sort of climate change, because just in history we've had ice ages, we've had warm ages, which are basically, I guess, the opposite of the ice age, and we still live, luckily, in a time on this earth where there are a lot of tsunamis and cold spells and stuff like that, but for the most part, in some way, we're still actually in an era where we do get enough heat and enough cold. And what's sad is that we don't always realize it, but basically, if you think about it, without the cold or without the heat, the actual world doesn't actually function very well. You need a bit of both in order to create that balance. And if you can't create the balance, well, then the world is not working. But all this to say basically that we do need the cold as much as we do need the sun in some way. But whatever we have given, or whatever place we're living at, we kind of have to try to make the best out of it and not let too much heat or too much cold weather stop you from living life, because mentally you might have depression, you might feel like the world is ending, you might feel like things are not going to get better, but what comes after the storm? A rainbow, right? So you always got to look for the rainbow that's past the storm, and hopefully get you to overcome these things and be happy, you know? So that's it for my speech. Have a great day. Bye.